It's a lot to untangle. We will do that for you. It's Game Day Final inside our NFL Network newsroom. Mike Am along with my good friend Steve Weich. I don't know what to make of what I just saw. Like, do you give some props to the defense, to the Chargers, the Eagles defense that kept him in?
Yeah.
I mean, a slew of mistakes across the board. But it was entertaining.
I give props to both defenses here, but also negative props to the Eagles offense as Jalen Hurts throws 4 interceptions, has 5 giveaways overall. Of course, the most damning was that final interception to end the ball game. I'm kind of questioning why they didn't run it there, why they didn't try to mix it up a little bit. They just got a first down. They had some time to really be creative instead of forcing the issue. But a great play also to force that interception. But again, Philadelphia's offense, this is their 4th game in 5 when they don't even score 20 points. So this was an issue that is going to continue to plague them. And right now, they're fortunate that they're playing in a division where the Dallas Cowboys are still a game and a half back, and they built enough of a lead cushion-wise early on as to where right now it is not Panic City. They still have some room to get out of this and get to the postseason.
Not Panic City.
It will be Panic City on WIP and the media and everything else, but
Talk Radio in Philadelphia, they might have been stomping on that panic button now a couple of weeks ago. I mean, heck, when they were winning football games, I think there was some concern about what we were witnessing from an Eagles perspective. To your point, in this division, though, they cannot clinch the NFC East in week number 15. That could have happened had they won on Monday Night Football. That wasn't the case. But let's go through some of these final moments here and what we saw down the stretch, because even when the Chargers were able to deliver a lead in overtime, there were some critical throws, and that being the biggest one.
Big time. That was on 3rd and 16, and he rips it. We did not see many completions over the middle, so Jalen Hurts makes no, almost had A.J. Brown here. Couldn't get enough. I thought there was a DPI. Look at the grip on the right arm. Was not called. I guess they call it hand fighting and let him play right there, but I thought that was a DPI that got let go. Philadelphia with another shot. They draw the offsides on a 4th down. You can't make that play, so now at Philadelphia, look at it, he jumps. Jordan Mailata said, look, he did it. He did it. Good call. So now,
and there was a choice there. We thought, like, hey, maybe, do we see Elliott come after? They went for it on 4th down, and then
Dallas got her.
Yeah,
a really nice play. They had something to work with, but now there's a little bit more than 2 minutes left. I'm thinking, okay, let's run it a little bit. Let's do that. No, they do the RPO. That is a great play there by Cam Hart to deflect it to Tony Jefferson. He comes off the zone, drops back into the receiver. Look, he's showing zone, hook the flat. I got the flat. I see his eyes. I'm dropping off, deflect it. Tony Jefferson is there. So that's a really good play. So you give the Chargers credit right there because they did force some of these takeaways. But, man, this is a bad loss for the Eagles just because, again, offensively they couldn't get it going. And defensively they were warming up Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Chargers. So
this is where it stands right now. They are an 8-5 football team after 3 consecutive losses. They still sit in that 3 seed because the NFC East hasn't been good this season. You see the Dallas Cowboys right now sitting at 6-1. Certainly a costly loss that we saw in Week 14 from a Dallas perspective. But once again, I mean, I think if you look at what we witnessed from the Philadelphia offense, you hit the nail on the head. We're doing pregame. We're looking at some of these numbers, and there's been a significant drop in offensive production. And I know there's been some questions about play calling.
Legitimate questions.
And you wanted to see more of Saquon. Now, I think some people will look at the numbers and say, hey, he ran for, what, $122?
122.
122 in the long touchdown run. But it's not like volume usage that we're seeing from arguably one of the best running backs in the league.
What really, caught my eyes when he was running left, right? When they were running behind left tackle Jordan Mailata, that's where he was hitting runs, and it started early. And it seemed like he was hitting chunk play, 8 yards here, 10 yards there. We saw the 52-yarder on the fake tush push type run right here. Just a quick pitch, great blocking. They got everyone hooked up, and he's gone. Right, all the defenders sold out to stop the short run. They pinch him to the middle of the field. That was the big run. But over and over, when he ran left, there was success. And it seemed late in the game and in the second half, they insisted on trying to run right. He's getting people in his face. But even there in overtime, I thought there were some situations where they could have set him up to run it. They had time on the clock. It's a tough debate, because they did have some rhythm going in the passing game. But it was just one of these things. The offensive line seemed to have a little bit of traction. They got away from it. over and over again. And that's just, I think, the frustration with this offense. Like, what is it? What is the identity of this offense? It should be that guy right there, but they put a lot on Jalen Hurts. And for the second or third consecutive game, the giveaways are coming, and they are coming in multiples. And as we saw right here, 4 interceptions and a fumble.
Yeah.
So now 2 of them came on one crazy play in the first half. But you just can't, again, a very good play. The ball looks like it's going to be there. The corner does a great job of deflecting, and then Tony Jefferson seals this in overtime with the pick. But Hurts, you know, this is just another one. He doesn't see the dropping defensive lineman, but he fumbles it. Yeah. Jalen picks it up, gets it stripped away. Again, this is the 2-for-1, and then the Chargers recovered. That happened early in the game, absolutely crazy, and the Hurts receiver falls down. So not all of these are on Jalen Hurts, but again, the sloppiness that we just didn't see when they were making their Super Bowl run. Receiver drops the ball right here, leads to a tip. So again, not all of these can be put on Jalen Hurts. The stats are going to look bad, but that one's on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but they're losing games right now, and you kind of hit the nail on the head on some of the issues. The giveaways, one thing. Jalen Hurts and what you're seeing from him in his play. A year ago, this is a vastly different conversation that we're having. What will you point to over this stretch of 3 games that explain Jalen Hurts not looking like the guy that won the Super Bowl?
One, he's getting a lot of this. He was getting banged up a lot tonight. He's got some heat in his face. And both of these teams, you're asking yourself, where's the quick game? Where's the quick game? You see some underneath receivers, and Troy Aikman on the call tonight for ESPN pointed it out. Just get it to the sticks, get it to the sticks. But a lot of the decisions that were being made, probably by Jalen Hurts, is let me take bigger plays. We've got opportunities there. I'm going to trust my guys. But sometimes just get into the rhythm and the flow of the offense, especially in a grinded-out game like this, where you can win death by paper cut instead of trying to make explosive plays, which end up leading to some of those giveaways or some of the botched opportunities.
You know, one of the other things that we're seeing here, this is a team that was 4-13 on third down. Consistently now, they're having issues in those critical moments. On the season, about 33, 35%, which is, you know, certainly bottom half of the league. I think it was ranking 28th coming in. What's happening right now? Like, what are defenses seeing out on the field when they're looking at Philadelphia and seeing some of the struggles?
They're not, look, what were they known for the last couple of years? Tush push. Yeah. What does that mean? 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. We didn't see many of those situations. We're not seeing many of those situations. Now they're playing behind the sticks. They're 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6. So these are situations that you're going to force to pass. That's where defenses, depending on the score, can heat them up or give them different coverages. That's why that percentage has gone down. Yeah,
once again, if you're just joining us here on NFL Network, it's the Chargers taking out the Philadelphia Eagles 22-19. This thing goes overtime, and just some critical plays on both sides that were good and bad. And you can see a big completion here. Devontae Smith had a quiet night, but one of the biggest moments of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and they looked really good on this drive. Again, an opportunity to go to A.J. Brown. I thought it was a DPI. You see, again, the right hand getting ripped, but no call on this. A.J. still almost had it, and then they get the penalty to advance to get the first down right here on 4th and 4.
And there was a conversation, you know.
Correct.
We didn't know if they would try to attempt the kick. That would have been about a 57, 58-yarder career long for Elliott, 61. But
and he had missed one earlier, but now they've got it, you know, the chance to make a play. Hurts scrambles, hits Goddard. Fantastic drive. Again, now they got a little bit of rhythm going, but there's so much time now. They got still about 2.5 minutes. Looks like a pretty good play. No. Again, great defensive play that leads, to the interception. But again, I thought maybe they would try to run it a little bit here with Saquon. They had it set up for the RPO. You see the whole thing developing on both sides. Tony Jefferson with the pick.
Yeah, once again, 4th interception of the game for Jalen Hurts, a career high. 2 other times in his career, he threw 3 interceptions. They lost both of those games, and certainly they lose on Monday Night Football. A huge disappointment for Eagles fans. Omar Ruiz inside SoFi Stadium.
Dan Henley, congratulations. What a wild win. How would you describe it?
Exactly like you said, exhilarating. Monday Night Football, my first time in OT for real. And then being able to make a play with my teammates. But then Tony Jefferson, man. Tony Jefferson, Justin Herbert, Imani Vidal, the running back court, just game balls, man. Them just guys that inspire me every day.
You guys got 4 interceptions of Jalen Hurts, the defending world champion quarterback. How would you describe your defense's performance tonight?
I mean, nonstop, steady, and making sure we stay the course. what you seen out there was just a defense determined to get a win, never a doubt in our mind. A hell of a leadership by Derwin James. He kept us on our toes the whole time. And then respect, 4 interceptions, and it still was a close one. So respect to that team over there, a hell of an opponent.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thank you. Both up.
We'll talk about the significance of this game, and I know right now down the stretch, everyone's doing scoreboard watch and trying to figure out what seed are we on the inside or the outside of the playoff picture. Chargers win. They improve to a 5 seed in the AFC. Keep in mind, they'd be on the outside looking in had they lost on Monday Night Football. And then defensively, 5 takeaways, a sack, 6 quarterback hits,
the
7
pressures.
That's the key.
I mean, you know, look, they got tagged a little bit on the ground. Saquon with a big run, this and that. But the timely pressures, Jalen Hurts never looked comfortable. And the one thing we've seen the past couple of weeks, especially with the Eagles' offensive line struggling a little bit, is that Hurts doesn't seem to be trusting some of the stuff that might be in front of him. Here, he did not see the defensive lineman drop into coverage. And so just the way that the Chargers have been aggressive, and this is Jesse Minter, their defensive coordinator. This defense has been really good all season long at creating plays like this. There, the receivers fell down, but the coverage was there also. Look at the pressure. I mean, Jalen Hurts, it got to him early, and I think there were times where he showed poise, but other times the guys weren't helping him out. But again, salute to the Chargers defense, the way it stood up on crucial situations, like right here near the goal line, stacking up Saquon Barkley, the play at the end, great pressures like this, excellent open field tackling, which is what they're known for. So this is why the Chargers are who they are. Once again, they held a Philadelphia struggling offense to fewer than 20 points. It wasn't a great effort, but it was a timely effort. And I think the point you made about the Chargers winning, how important this was, Mike, if they lose, their upcoming schedule, if they lost, they would give the Chiefs an opportunity. Now, by winning, Kansas City is really now in a super tough spot to get into the postseason. But by this victory, which to me is a huge thing for Justin Herbert, too, playing with that damaged hand, which we saw clearly bothered him. Hats off to his toughness, but the overall play of the Chargers just to kind of gut this one out.
I think the other aspect of this in this Chargers schedule, at Kansas City, at Dallas, Houston, and at Denver. I mean, this is 3
out of 4 on the road.
This is like murderer's row right now. Like this, they needed this one, and they get this. This was an important win for him. You mentioned Justin Herbert, the non-throwing hand. We saw him a week removed from surgery. I mean, last Sunday, obviously, I think he missed 8 plays, something along those lines. He's got the fracture. He's running all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
And I think part of that has to do with the pressure that he was facing with this Eagles defense. They did a remarkable job, but it's got to be overly concerning to watch your quarterback 7 days removed from hand surgery out there leading the team in rushing.
Well, I mean, look, he ran this a lot because his receivers couldn't get open. And look, taking direct shots over and over again. We saw him taking hits on that hand, and a lot of it was because he was tucking it and running it. And he was deciding pretty quickly to try to run and escape the pressure that he was facing. They were down some linemen, had some injuries during the game that also removed Trey Pipkins, one of their tackles. So they couldn't run the ball that effectively. Sometimes they did. Vidal had some short passes for the big touchdown that he took off, for the big run, but that set up the touchdown. But just the amount of punishment he took on that hand, it's going to be interesting to see next week against the Chiefs how useful that's going to be, because that hand, regardless of how padded up, he took a beating, but he kept on playing through it.
You know, and then after Dallas, I mean, think about those 2 defenses with Houston and Denver. I mean, 2 teams that absolutely get after the quarterback. Taking a look at these numbers here, and this speaks to the constant pressure that Justin Herbert was facing. Highest single game quarterback pressure percentage faced this season. Actually coming in week number 14, Justin Herbert at over 68%. Shedeur Sanders also facing a little bit of heat here.
Yeah, I mean, look, Herbert, this is what he's had to do all season. I mean, he's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. Like we talked about all the injuries on the offensive line. They have injuries. You know, Amari Hampton was out, the running back. But look at how quickly he gets out of the gate. And a lot of times he had success with these runs. I think that's why he tucked it. But also, watch how he's running. He's keeping that arm well extended. He's stiff-arming people with that hand. That's why he put the ball on the ground a couple times, too, because he wasn't holding the ball very tight. You could tell that hand was bothering him, but he played fearlessly. Look at him falling on his hand right there. But he was quickly tucking it and running it, realizing this might have been the best option for his offense most of the times, which he is. But anyone who questions his toughness or effectiveness is out of their heads. This is a heck of a player. He did whatever it took for his team to win, because we're showing some successful runs. There were quite a few where he was taking poundings right at the line of scrimmage.
Sacked 7 times in this game. You can see those numbers here. Keep in mind, Justin Herbert's been sacked at least 6 times, 3 times in his career. And he's 3-0 in those games.
That's crazy.
It's just wild to think about this guy and how he responds in pressure situations. Those 3 wins, by the way, the most by any quarterback since he entered the NFL back in 2020. The guy's, he's special.
He's special. Look, only completed 12 passes, but he generated the most for their offense, running it for 66 yards on 10 carries.
All right, take one more look at this playoff picture right now. The Chargers with the win improved to the 5 seed. Broncos cannot clinch the AFC West in Week 15. Keep that in mind. And because of the Eagles lost in the NFC East, they also can't clinch in week number 15. You know what that means? The game's all the way down.
Yeah, baby.
They mean something. All right, SoFi